Jaden, you there? Oh, okay, cool. What's up? I got you. I got you. Where are you streaming at? Um, I didn't see a notification from Twitch come through about you being live. Are you? Oh, there it is. Now I see your announcement that you just went live. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All music. Yeah. I was just gonna play some instrumental stuff in the background for me.
Oh, Jaden, I can't hear you on the stream, dude. No. Okay, cool. I can hear everybody else but you. Dude, you got the freaking worship countdown going? So I love how it pretty much sounds like I'm talking to myself. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Now, hold on. Your stream is very laggy, dude. So. Oh, I heard you.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Should be able to. Okay. Well. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hello.
I think. The heck, it says I have 5 viewers. That's so funny. Okay. So, Proverbs. Jonathan, how far were you in here last week?
Hardly really any because I had so much going on.
Okay. No worries. Riley, what stuck with you from last week?
I got to 2 with y'all.
Okay, cool. So, we went through 4. Just
Okay.
a little recap of Proverbs so far. Talking all about wisdom. It's been really good. Some of the verses, let me go to the channel. Some of the important verses that we kind of talked about was Proverbs 123. That was, if you will turn and pay attention to my rebuke, behold, I, wisdom, will pour out my spirit on you. I will make my words known to you. We had Proverbs 2:20 through 21. That was, so you will walk in the way of good men, that is those of personal integrity, moral courage, and honorable character, and keep to those paths of the righteousness. For the upright, those who are in the standing with God, will live in the land, and those of integrity who are blameless in God's sight will remain in it. We had Romans 3:7-8, Proverbs 3:35, Matthew 12:34-35. That was kind of a segue point. We did one of the little flag thingies. Can't remember what it's called in the New King James Version. And then Proverbs 4:5. So, yeah, last week, just all about wisdom. It was really good. This past week, I think that I've just had a better understanding of wisdom and how to ask for wisdom. We kind of talked about just asking for wisdom and confidence. So yeah, from what you were here for last week, what kind of stuck with you the most?
I'm gonna have to say no comment on this one because
Oh, good, man. I know you're
Yeah.
busy last week. Remember. Busy.
You were building you were building something last week, weren't you?
yeah, I was putting holes in my drywall to feed a wire down to put a plug by my new desk. So
You know, the fun stuff.
you know.
Oh, sick.
Well, cool. Well, we're gonna get started here in a second. I just need to send a message real quick. Please hold, and then we'll get started. Come on.
I'd have to say the thing that stuck out the most to me last week was Proverbs 2:8-9.
Sorry.
You're good, man. What's up, Wayne?
Oh boy.
2:8-9. Let's go.
Jaden, I'm gonna be muted, but I'll be here.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, it's just interject when you want. Tell me what you think. So 8 and 9, that was he guards the paths of justice and he preserves the way of his saints, believers. Then you will understand righteousness and justice in every circumstance, and integrity in every good path. For skillful and godly wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will watch over you, understanding and discernment will guard you. That was good. I guess I just read 8-11, but
I guess it does kind of carry on more than just 9.
But no, that's man, it was good. Just wisdom, man. It's like I don't know, I can't get over it. It's so, I don't have the words for it, just how important it is, you know? Anyway, so let's pray and let's get started. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. God, I thank you for the people watching, whether it be later or in Discord right now. God, I just thank you for your word. I pray that we would just meditate on it and just understand what you want us to hear. God, just get a better understanding of who you are. God, I thank you for your wisdom that you offer us. God, I pray that we would just continue to walk in this wisdom, and that we would just walk in the path that you have for us. God, we love you. We thank you. And we're excited. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. So, Proverbs 5, moving a little bit from wisdom and moving on to adultery. So, you know, kind of a fun jump there, but we're just going to start reading in 5, and we'll just kind of go until whenever. So, I'm going to do like last week, start in the New King James, switch to the Amplified, and kind of compare there. So, the peril of adultery. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding, that you may preserve discretion, and your lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lay hold of hell. Lest you ponder her path of life, her ways are unstable. You do not know them. Therefore, hear me now, my children, and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Remove your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others, and your years to the cruel one. Lest aliens be filled with your wealth, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner, and you mourn at last, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and say, how I have hated instruction, and my heart despised correction. I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to those who instructed me. I was on the verge of total ruin in the midst of the assembly and congregation. Drink water from your own cistern, and running water from your own well. Should your fountains be dispersed abroad, streams of water in the streets? Let them be only your own, and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth. As a loving deer and a graceful doe, let her breast satisfy you at all times, and always be enraptured with her love. For why should you, my son, be enraptured by an immoral woman, and be embraced in the arms of a seductress? For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his paths. His own iniquities entrap the wicked man, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. He shall die for lack of instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray.
Okay, whenever you were reading that, I was reading out of NLT at the same time. Two completely different understandings of it.
Yeah, really.
Like, it's like, switch over to NLT and just look at the difference. It's crazy. It's like the wording of it is how so different. Especially like verse 15 is when it kind of cuts straight to the point.
Drink water from your own well, share your love only with your wife. Yeah. Why spill the water of your springs in the streets, having sex with just anyone? Yeah, so like that's what's interesting about the different versions, and I'll read from Amplified in just a second. But like New King James is still like, you have King James, which is the like I don't know, I like to call it the like Hamlet of the Bible. You know, it's the like
for ye who
ye hath, you know, that sort of thing. And then you go to New King James, which is like kind of interpreted into our language a little bit better, or like modern day language.
But NLT is just like straight
NLT is good. And you know, I love Amplified because it just goes into like, let's compare 15 you said. So drink water from your own cistern of a pure marriage relationship, and fresh running water from your own well. So it just kind of helps go a little deeper. And then the other one that I really like.
Okay, looking at the Amplified, I love how it puts into like parentheses like what it's meaning.
Right. And that's like, why, it goes so much deeper.
I like that. I like that.
So the other version that is really good is the Message version. And the guy who wrote the Message version made it clear that this is not a study Bible. So it's hard to just read this and study in the Word. But it's written to our language, so it's better for us to understand. But it's there as more of a guide to then study deeper. So in this case, like 7 through 14, let's see, let me just try to find where 15 would be. So you don't want to squander your wonderful life, to waste your precious life among the hard-hearted. Why should you allow strangers to take advantage of you?
15 and 16's down at the bottom. It says 15-16 towards the very bottom.
Oh, you're right. Yep. So this says, never take love for granted. Do you know the saying, drink from your own rain barrel, draw water from your own spring-fed well? It's true. Otherwise, you may one day come home and find your barrel empty, or your well polluted. So versus where, you know, Amplified is saying, drink water from your own cistern, and then it's like a pure marriage relationship, and fresh running water from your own well. 16 then says, should your springs or your children be dispersed as streams of water in the streets?
Ooh.
Message then just goes to say, otherwise you may one day come home and find your barrel, you know, empty and your well is polluted.
Like pretty much either she's gone or somebody else is with her, basically.
Well, not even that, you know, I mean, Amplified too, it says, should your springs being your children, you know?
Dispersed.
So it's like, or your children this is the well, for instance, your children become polluted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, so it's like
your children pretty much have been polluted with the awful things you've done. Like, they've looked at it,
yeah,
and they probably thought that, oh, my dad did it, it's okay,
right?
know?
Yeah.
And that's setting a bad example for the children.
Mm-hmm. Riley, what you think?
I'm just I was reading what wormwood is. Wormwood is that's up at 5:4.
Yep.
It's so wormwood is mentioned in Revelations as a star that falls to earth, but it's mainly interpreted as being bitter. Like,
gotcha.
Wormwood itself is named after a plant or whatever that is bitter, pretty much. So
okay.
But like, you read 5 through 6 kind of, and you get to 5:6. Lest you ponder her path of life, her ways are unstable. And when you see unstable, that brings us back to earlier chapters of Proverbs, where it tells us what happens when you're unstable in your faith.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's good.
And then even the first one, my son, pay attention to my wisdom.
Yeah.
Like, even though we're talking about adultery, it's still tied to wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes,
it's like the wisdom of adultery.
Yeah. And I mean, and that goes back to Proverbs, first chapter 123. He's saying, my son, pay attention to my wisdom. But then going back, 123 says, if you will turn and pay attention to my wisdom, or turn and pay attention to my rebuke, behold, I, wisdom, will pour out my spirit on you. I will make my words known to you. So it's just again reassuring, hey, you really have to pay attention to the wisdom that I'm offering you. So that's good. Okay, I'm gonna read from Amplified now and just try to kind of compare the two, and we can switch to the Message even as well, or NLT, whatever you guys want. But so chapter in Amplified is called Pitfalls of Immorality instead of The Peril of Adultery. It says, my son, be attentive to my wisdom, godly wisdom learned by costly experience. That's really good. Man, sorry, I'm just like thinking about that. I mean, how many times do we gain wisdom from an experience that has cost us something? Anyway, moving on. Incline your ear to my understanding, that you may exercise discrimination and discretion, or good judgment. And your lips may reserve knowledge and answer wisely to temptation. For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey like a honeycomb, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter like the extract of wormwood. So basically, like, here, it's just saying, like, an immoral woman can be like this goddess of a woman that we find. We're like, yeah, that's the perfect woman. She looks to be perfect. Like it says, her speech is smoother than oil. It's like everything is just soothing about her. But in the end, since she's immoral, she's bitter like wormwood. She's as sharp as a two-edged sword, and ultimately it just leads to death, right? So her steps take of Sheol, which we talked about in the previous chapters. That's like the netherworld, the place of death. So her steps take like Sheol. Her steps take hold of Sheol, so that she does not think seriously about the path of life. Her ways are aimless and unstable. You cannot know where her path leads. Now then, my sons, listen to me, and do not depart from or forget the words of my mouth. Let your way in life be far from her, and do not even go near the door of her house. Avoid being near the places of temptation. So even though, like, she's in your life, or you think, she may be perfect, he's saying don't even be tempted, don't even get close to her, because she's leading to death, and even just, tiptoeing that line can still lead to death. So, let's see, where we're at. Do not go near the door of her house, or you will give your honors to others, and your years to the cruel one. And strangers will be filled with your strength, and your hard-earned wealth will go to the house of a foreigner who does not know God. And you will groan when your life is ending, when your flesh and your body are consumed. and you say, "How I hated instruction and discipline, and my heart despised correction and reproof. I have not listened to the voice of my teachers, nor have I inclined my ear to those who instructed me. I was almost in a total ruin. In the midst of the assembly and congregation, drink water from your..." Wait, sorry, I read that wrong. In the midst of the assembly and congregation. No, okay.
You're right.
Drink water from your own cistern of pure marriage relationship, and fresh running water from your own well. Should your springs or your children be dispersed as the streams of water in the streets? I'm just thinking on that. Should your springs or your children... So that's not talking about it like the well. Should your springs or your children be... Okay, I see.
I think it's talking about adultering your. I think maybe.
No, so it's just saying, so if the streams of water are just dispersed everywhere in the streets, right? Mm-hmm. It's saying, should your children, basically, like, should you be going around having sex with anyone, sleeping with anyone?
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're adultering yourself out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's talking from that standpoint.
Yeah, it's saying, should you just disperse yourself everywhere in the streets, you know? Mm-hmm. Confine yourself to your own wife, and let your children be yours alone, and not the children of strangers with you. Yeah, so it's just talking about, like, you know, those people that your wife, you're gonna know who she is, and it's just saying these strangers,
they're not your wife,
right? And that's why it says, and not the children of strangers with you, you know,
right?
Let the fountain or your wife be blessed with the rewards of fidelity, and rejoice in the wife of your youth. Let her be as loving hind and graceful doe. Let her breast refresh and satisfy you at all times. Always be exhilarated and delight in her love. Why should you, my son, be exhilarated with an immoral woman, and embrace the bosom of an outsider, or a pagan, which is like a witch, right? Pagan?
I think so.
Oh, that's like a witchcraft thing, I think.
Yeah, because remember there's that pagan convention.
Yeah.
While we were having karate class. Yeah. That was weird.
For the ways of man are directly before the eyes of the Lord, and he carefully watches all of his paths, all of his comings and goings. The iniquities done by a wicked man will trap him, and when he will be held with the cords of his sin, he would die for lack of instruction or lack of discipline. And in the greatness of his foolishness, he will go astray and be lost. You know, the iniquities piece, that just takes me back to, I can't remember what verse it is, but just talking about how, you know, Jesus was wounded. He was bruised for our transgressions and wounded for our transgression, bruised for our iniquities. Maybe it's vice versa. But, you know, iniquity, the reason there's the correlation between bruised and, like, iniquity is because an iniquity that is something that, like a bruise, right? It's something that comes from the inside out. So it's like, if you have a bruise, it's coming from the inside of your skin, your muscle, and it's coming out to be shown. So it's talking about iniquity. It's like the same thing. That's something on the inside of you that's coming out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
pagan is someone who does not practice Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. They're like unconverted person back in the day. Like back in the time of this being written.
Okay.
They someone who believed polytheism, really.
Okay, that makes sense.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So.
And then I've been looking at immorality because I find it interesting that in Amplified it's titled Pitfalls of Immorality.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is really talking, like, you can say it's about adultery, but in reality it's talking about immorality. And what is immorality?
Yeah.
Really, it's the violation of moral laws, norms, or standards. So it refers to someone really doing something that they know is wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, this is like the chapter of wisdom of immorality, really.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's deep. I would have never thought of that, man. That's so good. Anything else that you guys see that's, like, really sticks out to you guys?
I just think it's interesting about, you know, what you just read a few minutes ago about adultery and all that, about how, I don't know what the word is, relatable it is, I guess. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
when you said, like, you know, how a woman could be so beautiful and so goddess like, but then where it says, go back up to where it says, like, the wormwood or whatever.
There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the end, she is bitter like the extract of wormwood.
Yeah.
I just think,
Yeah.
because, I mean, think about, I mean, I'm sure all of us here have experienced
Oh
women
yeah.
Yeah.
like that. You know,
Yeah.
like, when you were reading that, I was just like,
Little bit
I
of
was
devil
just
with the
there were
angel
just
eyes.
names popping in my head.
Right. It's like,
just
yeah,
thinking,
I can think of someone who's like that.
I can relate to that.
I can relate to that. But I mean, but
Right.
that's what's so cool about the Bible, man, is it relates. Like at our age, I feel
You-
like I feel
You'd
like
be
we've
surprised how many times whenever I'm sitting listening to sermons and I can just feel my toes just being stepped on all the time.
yeah, man, it's
Like, dude, it's terrifying. Like, wait, how did that? Have y'all been spying on me?
right. No,
exactly. Like, I feel like,
it's just it's
and it's always in the most, like, I don't, like, the most, not convenient, but I
It's
guess
like- it's
convenient
almost like it was
times. Like,
timed.
it's like, whoa, dude.
It's almost like it
Like,
was
what?
timed perfectly. Like you were
Yeah.
going through that struggle, and the next thing you know, you're hearing a sermon about it the next day. I'm like, what?
well,
I
you know, it's just
wild.
it's conviction, you know, and that's just
Yeah.
to speak quickly about the difference between conviction and condemnation.
But honestly,
you
I'm
know?
not complaining about it because I
Well,
needed
no.
to step on my toes, dude. Because
Well-
like I know I've messed up on it, and I need to know how bad I messed up on it. So I'm glad it's stepping on my toes about it, dude.
Yeah. Well, and that's just to talk real quick about like the difference between conviction and condemnation, you know, like conviction's a good thing because it challenges you. That's conviction is of the Lord. Condemnation is not. And so condemnation makes you feel terrible. It's like that whole thing that after you've done something, it's like, wow, you really did that, and then you feel like really terrible afterwards. That's not of God, you know. That's of
Yeah.
the enemy. And so
Mhm.
the enemy who comes to kill, steal, and destroy is going to condemn you and make you feel bad, where Holy Spirit's going to convict you and he's going to tell you, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. You know, there's a big difference. And even stepping on your toes, it's just that conviction within you that's like, okay, yeah, you know, I need to change. I need to live differently. So, and there's a big difference. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, the other thing, let's see, where was it? Yeah, and it's just talking about like when you don't have a woman who's immoral, right? I think that was the right wording. It just says, you know, let your fountain or let your wife be blessed with the rewards of fidelity, and rejoice in the wife of your youth. Let her be as loving, high, and graceful and graceful doe. Let her breast refresh and satisfy you at all times. Always be exhilarated and delight in her love. So it's like, and then it's asking, why should you, my son, be exhilarated with an immoral woman? You know.
Exactly.
So why would you be?
You devoted your life. You devoted your life and your love to your wife. Why are you out here talking to some random girl on the side of the street asking if she wants to go back to your place?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that doesn't even speak to, that speaks to prior to marriage, right? That speaks to us as a teenager, and it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
or a young adult. It's like, you know, you have that wife who's planned for you, who God is
Yeah.
designated,
Why
designed
are
for
you
you.
going out of God's way, or why are you kind of bypassing God to go chase your fleshly desires?
Exactly, and that's a big thing, is your fleshly desire, you know.
And that
And that's something that I never understood before. As probably, at least I know Jaden knows. I mean, that's where I've kind of messed up. But now seeing that and reading about it
this is going to be
makes a lot more
very
sense.
kind of like cliff noted, but Pastor Stephen gave a good sermon a while back about how your heart, you know, is just like almost fully flesh, and then there's that little bit of spirit that's in there, and the more that you are in, you know, prayer and worship and everything, that spirit gets bigger and that flesh gets shriveled up and weak, and that spirit gets bigger and stronger. But the more you condemn into flesh, it's weakening your spirit and growing stronger in your flesh.
And Jonathan,
Right.
that goes right back to chapter 4, verse 23, talking about guard your heart. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. So what is in your heart? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's good. But yeah, just to wrap up there real quick, it's just like, we've been promised a wife. Like literally, the word has promised it to us. So why would we be partaking in an immoral woman when it leads to death and we have that promised blessed wife for us, you know?
Yeah.
So that's good.
Because like, so it's pretty much God saying, "Oh, here's this girl for you." Go like, God, I don't really want her. I want this other girl over here that, you know, she's better. She's a little better looking, you know.
Yeah.
I've heard she's really good. But so I think I'm gonna just go over here and do this. And then God's over here like, really, dude?
Right. Well,
Like,
and that goes back to the wisdom, you know. I mean, we've got free will. We could make that choice, but then ultimately, it's like when that thing fails, it's gonna be like God's like, I mean, I offered you my wisdom and you could have listened, but you didn't, and now look where it got you.
I've actually got a sermon
like,
coming up. I might do it out of Proverbs.
At 5-7, just like what Jaden was 7.
5-7.
Yeah. Now then, listen to me and do not depart from or forget the words from my mouth. That's good. Anything else before we move to 6?
No, it's a little further down, I guess.
Okay.
5:12.
5:12. Let's look at it. And I say to you how I hated instruction and discipline, and my heart despised correction and reproof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you're at that point, you're pretty much letting your flesh take over and setting your spirit off to the side,
Right.
and chasing your flesh.
Yeah.
What you want, not what God wants, but what you want.
Right.
You go and chase that, and then next thing you know, you find up hating yourself because you did it. And then God's over there like, dude, I tried to warn you,
Mhm.
like, you know, but I tried to warn you. I tried to give you instruction, but you just blew me off.
Anything else before we move to 6? Anything else that stuck out?
I think I'm good.
Okay. All right, so 6. Again, we'll go New King James and then go to Amplified. So this first section, and we can take it just kind of section by section too. This first section is called Dangerous Promises. So it says, "My son, if you become surety for your friend," I'm guessing that's what word that is. "My son, if you become surety for your friend, if you have shaken hands and then plunged up for a stranger, if you are snared by the words of your mouth, you are taken by the words of your mouth. So do this, my son, and deliver yourself. For you have come into the hand of your friend. Go and humble yourself. Plead with your friend. Give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, and like a bird from the hand of the fowler." Okay, I'm going to read just that first section in...
I think it went to like verse
Amplified.
5 was the last
Yeah, 5,
in that
okay.
section.
So, "My son, if you become surety, a guaranteed debt or obligator," that's just to break that
Okay.
word down. So, if you've become a guaranteed debt or obligation for your neighbor, if you have given your pledge for the debt of a stranger or another outside of your family, if you have been snared with the words of your lips, if you have been trapped by the speech of your mouth, do this now, my son, and release yourself from the obligation. Since you have come into the hand of your neighbor, go humble yourself and plead with your neighbor to pay his debt and release you. Give no unnecessary sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Tear yourself away like tear yourself away like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter. So it's just saying here, like, if you've
like
put yourself
sorry,
in
go
a
ahead.
debt, no, you're good. If you've put yourself in a debt of someone else, you got to work hard to pay that debt back. And that's why it's saying, like, give no unnecessary sleep to your eyes. It's just saying, like, work to get out of that debt. I like how it says, this version, New King James, verse 2 says, "You are snared by the words of your mouth. You are taken by the words of your mouth." Amplified says, "If you have been snared by the words of your lips, if you have been trapped by the speech of your mouth." So, and then tear yourself away like a gazelle from the hand of a hunter. So, moving on to the folly of indolence. "Go to the ant, you sluggard." You know, the Bible has some interesting dialect sometimes.
Sluggard.
"Consider her ways and be wise, which having no captain, overseer, or ruler, provides her supplies in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. How long will you slumber, O sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep? A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep."
Okay.
So shall your poverty come on you like a prowler, and your need like an armed man. A worthless person, a wicked man, walks with a perverse mouth. He winks with his eyes, he shuffles his feet, he points his fingers. Perversity is in his heart. He desires evil continually. He sows discord. Therefore his calamity shall come suddenly. Suddenly he shall be broken without remedy. These 6 things the Lord hates. Yes, 7 are an abomination to him. A proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift in running to evil, a false witness who speaks lies, and one who sows discord among brethren. So let's take
Kinda
that.
ran through-
So
yeah.
from 6. Go to the ant, O lazy one, observe her ways and be wise, which having no chief, overseer, or ruler, she prepares her food in the summer, and brings her provisions of food for the winter in the harvest. How long will you lie down, O lazy one? So a sluggard is just someone who's lazy.
Yeah.
How long will you lie down, O lazy one? When will you arise from your sleep and learn self-discipline? Oof. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to lie down and rest. So your poverty will come like an approaching prowler who walks slowly but surely, and your need will come like an armed man, making you helpless. A worthless person, a wicked man, is one who walks with a perverse, corrupt, vulgar mouth, who winks with his eyes in mockery, who shuffles his feet to signal, who points with his fingers to give subversive instruction, who perversely in his heart plots trouble and evil continually, who spreads discord and strife. Therefore the crushing weight of his disaster will come suddenly upon him. The crushing weight of his disaster. Instantly he will be broken, and there will be no healing or remedy, because he has no heart for God. These 6 things the Lord hates. Indeed, 7 are repulsive to him. A proud look, the attitude that makes one overestimate oneself and discount others. A lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that creates wicked plans, feet that run swiftly to evil. A false witness who breathes out lies, even half-truths. And one who spreads discord or rumors among brothers.
Dang,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
That hit me pretty hard. Not gonna lie.
Was just talking about, like, I mean, that's the thing that the Lord hates.
Yeah.
And it's just,
See, the thing is it also breaks it down from what he hates to what he absolutely despises, and like, that's just.
yeah, I mean, how many times do we partake in things like this? You know, I mean, it's
Unfortunately a lot.
how many times?
Because
how many
that's
times
just-
are we overly proud or arrogant? You know.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do we run to that evil?
Yeah, been there.
How many times do we lie? How many times do we spread rumors or gossip?
That surprisingly, that's not me. I will say that.
Yeah, how many times do we spread discord among other people? Talk about people behind their back, you know.
Okay, I'm kind of guilty of that.
It's definitely a struggle, man.
It's Proverbs. They just need to call the freaking toe stomping book, man. Like it's.
But just talks about the people that partake in that. The crushing weight of their disasters will come suddenly upon them. Instantly he will be broken, and there'll be no healing or remedy, because he has no heart for God.
Yeah.
Riley, what'd you get out of that first section?
The what the dangerous promises?
Mm-hmm.
It's number 2, honestly. Actually, you are snared by the words of your mouth. You are taken by the words of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever
Like
you
pretty
say.
much. Yeah.
Like you better be ready to like back that up
Yeah.
and like just receive any repercussions and like reap what you sow, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like honestly lately and not even lately, like these past few months, I've really started recognizing that like my actions affect anyone, like no matter how big or small,
Mm-hmm.
like they
Right.
could stick with someone for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Like it could change their trajectory of their life too.
Yeah.
So you just really have to be conscious of like yourself.
Not even your actions too, but your words too, and not even for other people, but for yourself, because there's power in your own words, and so speaking certain things, like those things can happen, so you have to be cautious of what you're saying as well. That's good.
You never know who could be listening,
Yeah.
and then they'll hold you true to those words too. Because that, I think, isn't that what it really means whenever it says, scroll back up to 2 and 3, verses 2 and 3. You are snared by the words of your mouth, and you are taken by the words of your mouth. So could you just kind of break that down for me, Jaden? Because I'd like to know a little more about what that means.
I'm gonna switch to the message and see what it has to say too. So if you've impulsively promised the shirt off your back and now find yourself shivering out in the cold,
Okay.
Friend, don't waste a minute. Get yourself out of that mess. So I'll just read 1 through 5. So, dear friend, if you've gone into hawk with your neighbor or locked yourself into a deal with a stranger, if you've impulsively promised the shirt off your back and now find yourself shivering out in the cold, friend, don't waste a minute. Get yourself out of that mess. You're in that man's clutches. Go put on a long face. Ask desperate. Don't procrastinate. There's no time to lose. Run like a deer from the hunter. Fly like a bird from the trapper.
Okay.
I like this. Always cooking up something nasty instead of the wicked man. I like that. Well.
Yeah, that helps a lot. So pretty much it's telling you don't get caught up in a deal that you're not ready to face the consequences for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like how the message portrays that.
Yeah, so then... the wicked man... So it breaks... Oh, apparently I've looked at this before. I had no idea. So the way it breaks down the wicked man, so it's the 2 sections. I'll read that from the message too. So swindlers and scoundrels talk out of both sides of their mouths. They wink at each other. They shuffle their feet. They cross their fingers behind their backs. Their perverse minds are always cooking up something nasty, always stirring up trouble. Catastrophe is just around the corner for them. A total wreck. Their lives ruined beyond repair. Dang, that's even deeper than Amplify, man.
Right? That's what I'm saying, dude.
Here are the 6 things God hates, and one more that he loathes with a passion: eyes that are arrogant, a tongue that lies, hands that murder the innocent, a heart that hatches evil plots, feet that race down a wicked track, a mouth that lies under oath, and a troublemaker in the family. Dang.
Yeah. Dude, I might have to start reading the message, dude.
The message is good, man. It really is. It's such a good version.
Because, dude, that really, in a way, dumbs it down.
Yeah.
Like, getting straight to the point. It's not, it's like, here's what this is trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my dad, he commented on the stream when we were talking about, you have to watch what you're talking. Yeah, there's power of life and death in the tongue.
Oh, yeah.
So moving on to beware of adultery. So it says, my son, keep your father's command and do not forsake the law of your mother. Bind them continually upon your heart, tie them around your neck. When you roam, they will lead you. When you sleep, they will keep you. And when you awake, they will speak with you. For the commandment is a lamp and the law a light. Reproofs of instruction are the way of life, to keep you from the evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a seductress. Do not lust after her beauty in your heart, nor let her elude with your eyelids. For by means of a harlot, a man is reduced to a crust of bread, and an adulteress will prey upon his precious life. Can a man take fire to his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one walk on hot coals and his feet not be seared? So is he who goes into his neighbor's wife. Whoever touches her shall not be innocent. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is starving. Yet when he is found, he must restore sevenfold. He may have to give up all the substance of his house. Whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. So they're ignorant. Because that's all that ignorance is. It's just a lack of understanding. He who does so destroys his own soul. Wounds and dishonor he will get, and his reproach will not be wiped away. For jealousy is a husband's fury. Therefore he will not spare the day of vengeance. He will accept no recompense, I think. Nor will he be appeased through, though you give many gifts. Sorry, there's a lot of words there. Anything in the King James Version before I read Amplified? No? Okay.
I think we're good.
So Amplified, my son, be guided by your father's God-given commandment or instruction, and do not reject the teaching of your mother. Bind them continually upon your heart and your thoughts, and tie them around your neck. When you walk about, they, the godly teachings of your parents, will guide you. When you sleep, they will keep watch over you, and when you awake, they will talk to you. For the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching of the law is a light, and reproofs or rebukes for discipline are the way of life, to keep you from the evil woman, from the flattery of the smooth tongue of an immoral woman. Do not desire or lust after her beauty in your heart, nor let her capture you with her eyelashes. For on account of a prostitute one is reduced to a piece of bread to be eaten up, and the immoral woman hunts with a hook the precious life of a man. Can a man take fire to his chest and his clothes not be burned, or can a man walk on hot coals and his feet not be scorched? So is the one who goes into his neighbor's wife. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Whoever touches her will not be found innocent or go unpunished. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is hungry. But when he is found, he must repay 7 times what he stole. He must give all the property of his house, if necessary, to meet his fine. But whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks common sense and sound judgment and an understanding of moral principles. He who would destroy his soul does it. Wounds and disgrace he will find, and his reproach or blame will not be blotted out. For jealousy enrages the wronged husband. He will not spare the guilty one on the day of vengeance. He will not accept any ransom offered to buy him off from demanding full punishment, nor will he be satisfied though you offer him many gifts or bribes. What you think?
Oh man, it's.
I know that's kind of a
so-
chunky
yeah,
section,
no,
but
yeah, that was pretty chunky. So I like how it's pretty much touching on a lot of adultery in this book, because I feel like adultery is a big thing that's going on, especially nowadays. Like it's. So I feel like if anybody's struggling with it, dude, just stick in the book of Proverbs, dude. Like for real, because it'll hit you hard
Yeah.
if you're struggling with it.
Yeah.
No, I mean this is good. I like this.
See, thing is, as well, it's not just talking about the act of adultery. It's literally, I mean, it's talking about lust as well. 25 literally says, do not desire, don't even lust after her beauty in your heart.
Or let her capture you with her eye.
Yeah, so it's literally, it's not just acting on adultery.
It's
lusting after her. If lust is in your heart, right? Then, you know, Dad was talking about it. It's like you cannot murder somebody, but you can have the thought, or you can want in your heart to murder somebody, right?
Right.
And it's like that thought in itself is sinful. Not it. You didn't actually kill the person, but you had that sinful thought.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like if you're lusting after someone in your heart already, then that's a sinful thought as it is. You don't have to act on adultery to still be sinful on it. You know? It's kind of going back to on 20 through 22, just kind of like talking about honor your father and mother too, talking about guided by your father's instruction and the teaching of your mother, and don't reject those. It even says your father's God-given commandment, your father's God-given instruction. So, and it says the godly teachings of your parents will guide you. When you sleep, they'll watch over you. So I'm curious what, because I highlighted in the message, I'm curious what difference
what is
there
this,
is.
6? What chapter is this?
Chapter 6, yeah. Good friend, follow your father's good advice. Don't wander off from your mother's teachings. Wrap yourself in them from head to foot. Wear them like a scarf around your neck. So instead of talking about just like, you know, wearing it like a necklace around your neck, it's wrap yourself up in them, like be consumed in those.
Be consumed in those godly teachings. Yeah, I like that.
Whenever you walk, they'll guide you. Whenever you rest, they'll guard you. When you wake up, they'll tell you what's next.
That's good.
For sound advice is a beacon. Good teaching is a light. Moral discipline is a life path. They'll protect you from presumptuous women, from the seductive talk of the temptress. Don't lustfully fantasize on her beauty, nor be taken in by her bedroom eyes. Just trying to look through, see, it's the same, let's see, it's the same when you have sex with your neighbor's wife. Touch her and you'll pay for it. No excuses. Hunger is no excuse for a thief to steal. So, if you're lusting, it's no excuse to go commit adultery.
Right. Like, oh, I have these feelings for her, time for me to go get her, you know?
I like this. Adultery is a brainless act, soul-destroying, self-destructive. Expect a bloody nose, a black eye, and a reputation ruined for good.
Mm-hmm.
For jealousy detonates rage in a cheated husband. Wild for revenge, he won't make allowances. Nothing you say or pay will make it all right. Neither bribes nor reason will satisfy him.
I mean, you got to think, looking back, how many times have, you know, big, you know, celebrities and politicians have had their reputations ruined because they've, you know, committed this sin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just completely destroyed them. So that's a good way to look at it too, is like, look at how much it ruined their fleshly lives. So imagine what it would look like in your spiritual life if you know, go out and do this. Like, it's gonna ruin a good reputation.
Yeah. Well, and how many times? I mean, it's talking about, you know, jealousy detonates rage and a cheated husband.
Yeah.
I can speak from a relationship where I wasn't cheated on, but it felt like I was cheated on. We weren't actually in a relationship, but it was just, you know. And you become jealous, you become enraged that that's happened.
I think I've told you the story about how that happened to me once.
Yeah, it's just
it sucks.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah.
I'm not gonna rant about it. let's get away from this part and go into a rant. Oh my gosh.
Anything else that you guys really stuck out with you in 6?
No, I don't think.
Riley, anything important?
It's pretty a lot. Not a lot of this is just very repetitive. Goes into a lot of detail.
Mm-hmm.
On what it means.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, then 7. Just keep on going. You guys good?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay. 7. A little bit shorter. I'll read New King James and go to Amplified. So, my son, keep my words and treasure my commands within you. Keep my commands and live, and my law as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding your nearest kin, that they may keep you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice, and saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths, a young man devoid of understanding, passing along the street near her corner. And when he took the path to her house in the twilight and the evening, in the black and dark night, and there a woman met him, with the attire of a harlot and a crafty heart. She was loud and rebellious, her feet would not stay at home. At times she was outside, at times in the open square, lurking at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him with an impudent face. Impudent? Impudent?
I think it's impudent.
It's impudent.
Okay, with an impudent face, she said to him, I have peace offerings with me. Today I have paid my vows. So I came out to meet you, diligently to seek your face, and I have found you. I have spread my bed with tapestry, colored coverings of Egyptian linen. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love, for my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He has taken a bag of money with him, and will come home on the appointed day. With her enticing speech, she caused him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. Immediately he went after her, as an ox goes to the slaughter. Or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till an arrow struck his liver. As a bird hastens to the snare, he did not know it would cost his life. Now therefore listen to me, my children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her paths. For she has cast down many wounded, and all who were slain by her were strong men. Her house is the way to hell, descending to the chambers of death. I love how it says, immediately he went after her as an ox goes off to slaughter.
Yeah, right?
Just...
So that's pretty much what he did. He was signing pretty much his certificate, basically.
I mean, it's just talking again. I mean, it says that, the act of adultery is death.
Yeah.
So,
pretty much signing his own death certificate with it, basically.
22 in the Amplified, suddenly he went after her as an ox goes to the slaughter, not knowing the outcome. Or as one in stocks going to the correction to be given to a fool. Now therefore, my sons, listen to me and pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her evil, immoral paths, for she has cast down mortally wounded. She's cast down many mortally wounded. Indeed, who were killed by her were strong. Just think about Samson. And Delilah. I mean, you're talking about one of the strongest people in the Bible. And he was seduced by Delilah and killed. All because he gave in to that act. Indeed, all who were killed by her were strong. Which, again, the Bible is saying her. This can be applied, obviously, male or female. It's not specifically women. It's just, that's what the Bible says, but it can go to both. My son, keep my words and treasure my commandments within you, so they are readily available to guide you. Keep my commandments and live, and keep my teaching and law as the apple of your eye. Bind them securely on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to skillful and godly wisdom, you are my sister, and regard understanding and intelligent insight as your intimate friends, that they may keep you from the immoral woman, from the foreigner who does not observe God's laws, and who flatters with her smooth words. Peace offerings with me. Trying to see if there's anything super important I see. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I see, honestly, is just the fact that, once again, just talking about how many all who were killed by her were strong. So it's like it doesn't matter how strong you are.
You could be weak or strong, young or old. It can still kill you, basically.
Yeah, and you have to use wisdom to guide you to stay out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. That's really good. You may think you're strong in the faith, but it takes one swift blow,
Yeah, right?
and it's all over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back to 8. Not back to 8, but back to wisdom. Anything else in 7 that you guys saw that really spoke out to you?
Nope.
Okay. So 8, the excellence of wisdom. Does not wisdom cry out? Let's see, what's this little... Okay, so going back to Proverbs 1:20. 1 Corinthians, okay. Does not wisdom cry out, and understanding lift up her voice? She takes her stand on the top of the high hill, beside the way where the paths meet. She cries out by the gates at the entry of the city, at the entrance of the doors. To you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. O you simple ones, understand prudence, and you fools, be an understanding of heart. Listen, for I will speak of excellent things, and from the opening of my lips will come right things. From my mouth will speak truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteous. Nothing crooked or perverse is in them. They are all plain to him who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. Receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may desire cannot be compared with her. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Pride and arrogance in the evil way, and the perverse mouth I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom I am understanding. I am understanding, I have strength. By me kings reign, and rulers decree justice. By me princes rule, and nobles, all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yes, fine than gold, and my revenue is revenue than choice silver. I traverse the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of justice, that I may cause those who love me to inherit wealth, that I may fill their treasures. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I have been established from everlasting, from the beginning, before there was ever an earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth, when there were no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills, I was brought forth. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. While as yet he had not made the earth or the fields or the primal dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he drew the circle on the face of the deep. When he established the clouds above. When he strengthened the fountains of the deep. When he was assigned to the sea its limit, so that the waters would not transgress his command. When he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him as a master craftsman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in this inhabited world, and my delight was with the sons of men. Now therefore listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting for the posts of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life, and obtains favor from the Lord. But he who sins against me wrongs his own soul. All those who hate me love death. So there's a lot to read.
Yeah.
that last part really sticks out. For blessed are those who keep my ways, hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. And whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But he who sins against me wrongs his soul. All those who hate me love death. For he who finds me, and yeah, we're talking about wisdom, so he who finds wisdom finds life and obtains favor and grace from the Lord. But he who fails to find me or sins against me injures himself. There was a section, let's see, was it 7? For my mouth will utter truth, and wickedness is repulsive and loathsome to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteous, upright and right standing with God. There is not contrary to the truth or perverted crooked in them. They are all straightforward to him who understands, and right to those who find knowledge and live by it. Take my instruction rather than seeking silver, and take knowledge rather than choicest gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all desired things cannot compare with her. I, godly wisdom, reside with prudence, good judgment, moral courage, and astute common sense. I like that it broke down prudence a little bit better, just to kind of explain what exactly prudence is. And I like, we talked about on last Monday the fear of God, and just kind of talking about what that is. And I like how it talks about in 13 saying that the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. We were talking about just like how many times people can hear the fear of the Lord and think that they're supposed to be afraid of the Lord, when that's not what it's talking about. Like it says the reverent fear and worshipful awe of the Lord includes the hatred of evil. So it's good. What you guys think?
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, for real.
I'm like trying to.
I feel like I'm gonna have to, like, after we get done here, I'm gonna have to just like read over 8 just like multiple times to be able to hopefully understand it all.
8, there's a lot, and let me. Okay, so I've read some of Proverbs. I don't remember this, but
Well, you've put a couple of your verses to remember in there from Proverbs.
yeah, that was from Monday.
Yeah.
So the message, just this part that's highlighted, we'll read it. It's that last part again. So my dear friends, listen carefully. Those who embrace these, my ways are most blessed. Mark a life of disciple and live wisely. Discipline.
Discipline.
I cannot read today, man. Mark a life of discipline and live wisely. Don't squander your precious life. Bless the man, bless the woman who listens to me. Awake and ready for me each morning, alert and responsive as I start my day's work. When you find me, you find life, real life. That's good. To say nothing of God's good pleasure, but if you wrong me, you damage your very soul. When you reject me, you're flirting with death. Yeah, I like that it says when you find me, you find life, you find real life. That's good.
Very good.
Yeah, so this was talking about just wisdom, how it was, created before creation, and then it was there through creation. 22 through 31 is. I like this, just talking about wisdom. My benefits are worth more than a big salary, even a very big salary. The returns of me exceed any imaginable bonus. You can find me on Righteous Road. That's where I walk, at the intersection of Justice Avenue handing out life to those who love me, filling their arms with life, armloads of life. Like that. And then to break down fear of God a little more. The fear of God means hating evil, whose ways I hate with a passion, pride and arrogance, and crooked talk. Oh, that was a lot right there.
Yeah.
It's like, goodness. You guys still good? Good to keep going? You wanna take a break? Kind of
Yeah, I'm,
decompress on 8? You said you're gonna go eat?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
4 chapters. We got through 4 chapters.
Did, what was that, 6 through 8?
5
Yeah.
through 8.
5 through 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Covered a lot.
Not bad. Right at an hour. Not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nine's pretty short. 10, contrast with the righteous and the wicked. It's just talking about, the righteous and the wicked for the next couple chapters. Goodness, that's actually talking about it for quite a while. Still going in 15, still going in 16, still going in 17, still going 18.
We might need to just focus next Monday on just, what is that, Proverbs, 12 through 18?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just one whole, like, that's massive too, dude.
Yeah, it's a big chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If anything has, everything in the Bible is important, but if it's got that many chapters, that it's really important.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do 9, or you want to stop there?
See, I think next Monday we could do 9 through 12,
9 through 12, yeah.
and then the Monday after that we could tackle that large chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like hit 12 through 19? Not next Monday, but the Monday after next.
Attempt to.
It'll probably be like a 3-hour long session.
It may have to be a couple week thing.
2-part series.
Yeah.
A series. There you go.
So out of what we read tonight, those 4 chapters, what most stuck with you guys?
Really? I think it was. I want to say it was 6. When it was just going down like the list of what God really hates,
Mm-hmm.
it really made me like look back and go like, "Wow, I have not been." It made me look back like at my old self, and just going like, "Wow, I've done so much." Even whenever I said I was a Christian, it hit me hard.
Mm.
Like that just really was it 6 or was it? No, that was it. 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's listing
and
off
like 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 16 through
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
I'll put those in there.
Because that really, like 16 through 19, really hit me.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it, go like, he really despises all that, man. And I've been doing that. I got a lot of work to do.
Well, that's the thing though, man, is
Yeah.
it's literally called your faith walk because it's a walk. It's a journey. It's like I've heard it explained one time how doctors practice medicine. It's like we're practicing Christianity.
Right.
We're constantly learning how to live like Jesus.
Right.
He doesn't expect us just to know, hey, you gotta live like me, and this is how you do it. We have to.
It's a learning experience.
It is, and we have to dig deep in the Word.
And he doesn't have to sit there and baby you about it. He doesn't have to sit there and babysit you, make sure you're walking on this nice little path. How else will you learn if you stumble and you fall?
Yeah, and we talked about that last Monday too. I mean, just talking about the lessons that get learned out of not using God's wisdom.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's not gonna be, like, oh, I've got you, nothing bad's gonna happen to you, he's gonna expect you to fall and learn from that mistake so you don't do that mistake again. Because if he babies you through that mistake, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I can keep making this mistake, and he's gonna be right there with me. He's gonna be, he's gonna be loving, he's gonna be caring, and you're just gonna keep making that same mistake over and over, knowing that, okay, he's right there with me, so it's okay, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so he has to punish you in a way in order for you not to make that same mistake again.
It's growth too.
Yeah.
For real.
If like a mom takes her kid to like the auto shop or whatever, and he like say he needs like an oil change, and like she does it all for him, he's not gonna learn anything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot like I can relate a lot into like construction, and like how I learn is a hands-on learning. Like I won't know how I do it unless I'm physically have my hands on it and I'm actually trying to work out a problem with it. I can't look at a textbook and exactly know what to do. So like that kind of portrays a lot to this, is that like, you have to pretty much go through it, and if you come across an error, you know where you messed up and you can skip over that the next time you come across that same situation.
That's good.
So yeah, I like that.
Well, I know that was a bit deeper
That was
than last week. Maybe a little bit trickier to understand some parts, but
a lot of it stuck with me pretty good. So
yeah, and it's just, again, it's still, even though it was technically titled adultery, it's still wisdom. Like Riley was saying, it's like using wisdom against immorality, or it says the pitfalls of immorality. Yeah, I mean, literally, Proverbs is just really teaching us how to use that wisdom, and how important it is to uphold that wisdom and not just discard it. So that's good. Anything else? Questions, comments, concerns? Good. All right. Well, guys, it's been good.
yeah, it's been real good.
I'm just gonna pray us out. So, God, I just thank you for your word. God, I thank you for what we've read tonight. God, I just pray that we would meditate on your word and just soak it in and really get a better understanding of what we've read tonight over this next week. God, I pray that you would just guide our steps, allow us to be attentive to the wisdom that you give us. And God, I thank you for the wisdom that you've given us. God, we thank you for your Son. Thank you for your grace and your goodness. God, we love you. Protect us over this next week. In Jesus' name, amen.
Man.
Well, cool, guys. It's been fun. Feel free to stick around. You guys don't have to leave, but it's been cool. I know some of you guys got some stuff to do, so